Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going through my November TBR, so what I want to read in the month of November. Now, I appreciate this is a little bit late and I actually have already finished one book, and that was the second book in the Jurassic Park novels, so The Lost World. These two books, like the Jurassic Park and then Jurassic Park The Lost World, were a really interesting read because I wasn't sure like what the books were going to be like compared to the movies, and I absolutely love the movies, but I actually really enjoyed the books. I can definitely see the similarities and I can definitely see the differences. Like, I would say it's more graphic in the books, but I think it's easier to be like a little bit more graphic. Like, I think the movies, they were trying to be a bit more like catered to kids, but not so kids, because I think they're like rated 15 or something, but I think if they were like the books, they would be like 18, like adult. Like, there's some really graphic scenes, which is surprising because there's like actually like the kids in the first book are younger than the kids in the first movie, but yeah, but I absolutely loved this. Rated it 4 stars. I liked it just a little bit less than the first book, but still really loved it, so this is a 4-star for me. The book I'm in the middle of is Apprentice to the Villain, which is the second book in the Assistant to the Villain series. I don't know if it actually has a series name, it probably does, but I'm having so much fun with this so far. I rated the first book 5-star, and I have a feeling this might be a 5-star as well. I'm about 100 pages in actually, and it's so good. Like, it's such a good time. Like, if you want a fantasy with like romance, tension, like slow burn, this is so, but like it's so good. Like the banter, like the humor, like it's so good. This is a good time, so I highly recommend the series. So yeah, really enjoying this so far. So this is obviously on my November TBR. And then the next book that I want to read is Slinger. That's not showing up very well. Oh, there, kind of. There we go. Slinger. So I am reading this with Paperback Honey's book club. I've just joined on Fable, so really excited to read this with everybody, and I've heard like amazing things from like everybody. Like, what Emmy reads absolutely loves this book, so I'm really excited to read it. So that's on my TBR. And then a book that I feel like I am so late to, because I feel like everybody's read it and the third book's actually coming out this month, hence why I feel like I want to read it now. I feel like the third book's the last one. I'm pretty sure it's just supposed to be a trilogy. I'm hoping so, because I'd like to, if I like the first book, I want to binge it. But that is Lightlark by Aster. So I'm so excited to read this. I mean, it doesn't fill the full page. Like, it's quite, the way it's formatted, but it's chunky. But it's only like 400 pages. But like, it looks so much bigger than some of my other 400-page books. That's a bit confusing, but I like how it looks with the pattern, but it's really pretty. But I'm really excited to read this because it sounds really interesting to me. So when this like first came out, like when it was like all over TikTok and stuff, like I was excited to read it, and now we're like book 3 coming out, so a little bit late to the game, but better late than never. So I'm really excited to read this, so hopefully I will get to it in November, because I'm also a mood reader, so this could completely like go out the boat and I could read something else. And then lastly, what I'm putting on my TBR is The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. Mclean. Have I been saying what everyone else? I'll go back and say the authors of the books because that's probably important. But this is the Illumicrate version, so it's got like the really pretty spine and like the really gorgeous cover. This is like described as like a cozy fantasy, and it's basically about a phoenix keeper at a zoo, and they're trying to like conserve the magical creatures, and then they have like an enemy, but I don't really think it's gonna be like enemy, but I'm really excited to read it. From everything that I've seen and heard about it, it sounds really interesting. So in the back of it says, "Falling in love never burns so bright," and that just sounds so cute, but like it's so pretty. But if I go back and tell you the authors of the other books, so Metal Slinger is by Rachel Schneider, and it's book 1 in the Fire Metal series. And then Apprentice to the Villain is by Nicole Maehrer. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, so I'm so sorry, but she's actually a TikToker, and I first followed her when she was just doing her assistant to the villain like TikTok series, like like the skits, I think that you would describe it, that she did. And then like I followed her through it, like her whole like writing publishing journey, and like it's just so good. Like I'm so glad that she's made these because they're amazing. And then Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park The Lost World are by Crichton, I think is how you pronounce that. But yeah, a lot of chunky books. I think probably the smallest one is Apprentice to the Villain, but the writing is really small in the books. That's my bookmark. It's a little Hobbit bookmark with Toriel at the top. So yeah, the writing in this is like really small, so I think if the writing was like the other books, it would probably be a lot bigger. But that is my TBR. But as I said, I'm a mood reader, so I could completely go off the rails. I could end up reading more. I might read more. Like I've already read one book in the month of November. So it just kind of depends like how my weeks go. Sometimes I have busier weeks at work and I'm just kind of more mentally drained, and sometimes I'm like really into the books and I fly through them. I anticipate that I'll probably finish Apprentice to the Villain in the next day or so, because I'm already 100 pages in and I only just started it, and it's 300 and some pages, so I'll probably like fly through that one. And then I'll probably read either Slinger or Lightlark next. Those are the two that I'm really excited about. And maybe I'll read The Phoenix Keeper more towards the end of the month and kind of keep that as like the cozy one, because I was in my cozy fantasy era and then I just wanted a bit more. So that might be swapped out with something else. I'm not sure. I might end up getting the second book in the Lightlark series, Nightbane, if I really enjoy it, and then pick up Skyshade, I think it is, and I might end up just binging that trilogy in this month because that's how I prefer to read series, hence why I read the Jurassic Park ones together. And I'm actually trying to focus on, when I start a series, finishing it or at least catching up to where it is. So that's why I've read The Lost World and Apprentice of the Villain, because I'm actually trying to challenge myself to finish my series before buying any new ones. So we'll see how that goes, but I am planning on actually doing some videos about that. I'm continuing series I'm in the middle of, which again, that's not an original idea. I got that from What Emmy Reads and a couple of other YouTubers that I will link down below in those videos. And in this one I will link Paperback Honey and What Emmy Reads, because I'm in Paperback Honey's book club and What Emmy Reads has absolutely raved about Slinger, so I feel like I have to put her in the description, and I love those two so much. I love their content and everything, so I shall link them, and I think that is it. But yeah, I'm going to be doing my October reading wrap up quite soon. I know I haven't done that yet, and I'm doing my November TBR, but I got caught up with things and kind of got behind on my content, so a little bit late on things, but better late than never. I still like watching people's reading wrap-ups, even if they're not out on the first, that's fine. But yeah, as I said, I'm a mood reader, so like I could end up reading God knows what, but I have a lot of ideas in mind coming up for book videos that I could do, so stay tuned for those. But yeah, this was quite a short video, but I don't, like, I'm a fast reader, but I'm not like a really fast reader, so like I typically only read like 5 to 7 books a month, so I've picked 5 books. But I could read more or I could read less, but that's okay because everyone reads at their own speed. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like and comment what's your November TBR, and consider subscribing for more exciting book rambles, because everyone loves to ramble about books. So yeah, I shall see you in the next one. Thank you.